Hello. In this video, I want to talk about the AppVeyor API. Now, there are numerous times that you want to use the AppVeyor API when you're trying to automate different things within AppVeyor, whether it's starting a build, stopping a build, getting information about project settings and updating those project settings. Now, all of those things are documented really well within the AppVeyor documentation that's open just now. And it's broken down into sections like teams and updating users, getting users, collaborators, roles for the different projects within your AppVeyor system. And there's also examples of how you can consume them from the likes of PowerShell and C#. Now, what I find is when I'm doing something with the AppVeyor API, I just need to quickly do something. I need to test something quite quickly. So what I've done is I've created a set of Postman requests in the form of a collection that allow me to quickly spin up a request just for testing purposes. So rather than having to stub out a piece of code, I can just use a couple of simple requests within Postman to make it really easy to consume and test the AppVeyor API. So what I want to discuss in this video is just the steps that are required to get up and running with this collection and how you can use it. So let's go ahead and jump into Postman. So the first thing we need to do is we need to import the collection, which is just a JSON file. So go ahead and clone the repository or download it directly and click the import button up at the top here. Click choose files and then browse to the collection file, which is this one here, and go ahead and click open. So what you'll get here now is a request for all of the available API endpoints in the form of users, collaborators, roles, projects, etc. Now what I've done within the Postman collection, if we look at something like the get last project build, I'm using the concept of environment variables or variables within the collection. Now at the minute these are highlighted in red. That's because I don't have them set up within my environment file. So if we click on manage environments up here and we go ahead and import again and click choose files, we can go to this AppVeyor empty Postman environment variables file that's also in the repository. Go ahead and click open. And if we go and drill down into that, we'll see that there are four environment variables that need to be set up. So what's expected here is that you provide the account name, the project slug, the authentication token, and some records per page that you want to use within the request that you're using. So as an example, I'm going to use this cake.gem project that I have within my cake contrib account. Now, the third bit of information, which is authentication token, that's something you can get from this right-hand menu here. If you click on your name at the top here and then click on API token, then this is where you'll get the environment variable that is the API token. Now, obviously, I've obscured that because I don't want everyone getting that, but go ahead and copy that and go back to here and let's just fill that in. So the account name, as per the URL at the top here, if I hit back, the account name is just cake contrib. So let's go ahead and put that in there. And then the project slug in this case is cake.gem. And the last one here is records per page. So this is just used for some historical queries for looking back through project history. So you can set that to be anything you want really, but the default within AppVeyor is 20. So let's just choose that. So now that we've set those up, what we'll hopefully find now is if we go back to get this get last project build and we select that environment that we've just created, then these are now we highlighted in orange rather than red, because we've now actually got some values for those environment variables. The intention behind that environment file is that you might want to create one per project. So if you have multiple projects, you would have an environment variable, a collection of environment variables set up for each of the projects. So you would change the slug name and the account name if required in order to allow you to run those requests. So let's go ahead and just look at, for example, at this get projects as an example. Let's just go and click and hit send. It will then use the authentication token in this case. In this case, it doesn't need any additional information in the URL to make the request. But what we'll get back here is a list of all the projects that are available on my account that authentication token is associated with. And you see the output here. And then you get, for example, the project history. So in this case, this one is using those environment variables. So it's got the account name, the project slug, and the records per page. You go ahead and click send again, and it will return all of the information about that project. Now, there are some requests in here where the using of an environment variable doesn't make sense. So for example, in this one needs a user ID in order to get the information about a specific user. That's not something you would want to necessarily put into an environment variable. But if we go ahead, for example, and say get users, and then we take the user ID, which is this one, and then go ahead and say, and then replace that tokenized value in the URL with the actual user ID and go ahead and run that, then we get some additional information about that user. So hopefully this will be useful to you. My intention is to keep this collection up to date if and when the AppVeyor API gets expanded. For now though, I'll thank you very much for listening and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.